The night of New Year's Eve, usually a time of happiness and excitement, turned into a frightening experience that we will always remember. As midnight neared, our gathering was filled with warmth and joy, the sound of laughter mixed with joyful music, making a blissful atmosphere. We had no idea that a sudden darkness would soon ruin our joyful mood. As we went outside, the air became very cold, and we saw a beautiful show of fireworks lighting up the night sky. In the midst of this stunning view, I suddenly saw him, a poorly dressed person, bent over and shaking, standing near his temporary home. Although it was cold, the sight of him gave me chills and was a chilling indication of the nightmare that was coming. Driven by empathy, I went up to the man, feeling a mix of happiness and weariness as I approached. He appeared to have a disability and was quietly muttering words that were hard to understand. He stared at our house with an unsettling grunt, indicating his connection to our celebration. I felt uneasy in my stomach as I moved back towards the front door to stay safe, observing the man from afar. He kept looking at our house, clearly anxious. There was something unsettling about him that made me feel the need to keep a close watch on him. The man stayed still, quietly watching our festivities as time passed. Filled with determination, I chose to face him, feeling anxious as my heart raced. I cautiously said, "Hello," when I entered the chilly night. His eyes met mine, and I was overwhelmed by the smell of alcohol and rotting. I felt scared when he mumbled unclear words. With a sudden burst of energy, he swiftly moved his arms towards my neck, catching me off guard. I tripped backwards, escaping his hold, and quickly returned to the safety of my house. As I locked the doors and called for help, the guests panicked. We anxiously waited for help, while remembering the homeless man's disturbed expression. The time flew by strangely until the police showed up. They found the man in our house. Despite the promise to catch and take him to a facility, the tension that had filled us all night didn't lessen much. The New Year's Eve celebration that started out well turned into a terrible experience. Our home was overshadowed by fear and uncertainty, replacing the expected joy. The homeless man was a sad reminder of how unexpected sadness can disrupt happy moments. Afterwards, the encounter sparked a fresh understanding and compassion for the problem of homelessness. The combination of joy and terror on that fateful night had a lasting impact, reminding us to appreciate happy moments while being aware of unexpected dangers. We always had so much fun during our family gatherings on New Year's Eve. It was a tradition that always brought smiles and joy to our faces. This year, we scored an invite to the Andersons' pad once again. There are neighbors who always know how to have a good time. The dining room was super cozy, with the amazing smell of turkey and pies drifting around. We were all chilling at the table, raising our glasses and busting jokes. The Andersons were like the ultimate squad, with John, Sarah, and their ridiculously adorable 5-year-old son Tommy. The evening went down just like it always does, with some good convo and getting updates on everyone's lives. The party had such a chill vibe, you could totally feel it, and everyone was getting pumped for the countdown at midnight. Man, I'm telling you, it was insane. The moment Tommy screamed, the entire room went nuts. I'm talking pure mayhem, bro. All of a sudden, the calm and peaceful scene took a terrifying turn. Just like a freaky horror flick, we all got hella spooked when Tommy's face went all twisted and he screamed so loudly it sent shivers down our spines. Everyone totally lost it and started freaking out, scrambling to figure out what had Tommy so freaked. John and Sarah rushed over to their kid, trying to calm him down, but he just wouldn't stop crying. Man, his face turned beet red and tears were just gushing down his face like he was a hot mess, making some weird nonsensical noise. "Tommy, what's wrong, buddy? What's freaking you out?" John asked, genuinely concerned. But Tommy, man, he kept his trap shut, totally spooked by something he couldn't put his finger on. The dude was yelling so loud, it was freaking everyone out. Time was dragging on so slowly, it felt like each minute was lasting for eternity. Tommy completely went off the rails for no reason, and everyone in the room was just like, what the hell is going on? It was super confusing, freaky, and made everyone so uncomfortable. I freaked out, man. Those terrifying screams will be stuck in my head forever as I imagine the absolute worst possible thing happening. Out of nowhere, Tommy stopped freaking out and just ditched the kid with a look of total shock and confusion. He glanced around the room, totally spooked, as if he'd just snapped out of a super intense and terrifying dream. Sarah murmured loving words into her son's ear, giving him a tight squeeze. But Tommy stayed silent, his eyes filled with an indescribable terror. As the night went on, we kinda just shrugged off the creepy incident, but yeah, you could totally feel the awkwardness in the air. The good vibes went downhill fast, and our dinner conversation became painfully silent as we all tried to avoid the awkwardness of the weird thing that had just happened. No matter how much we all tried, we couldn't wrap our heads around why Tommy just went off the rails. The Andersons were just as clueless as the rest of us. You could tell by their expressions. They were all like, what the heck is going on? With those worried looks and all those glances they were giving each other. The New Year's Eve dinner started off as a blast, but now there's this awkward question hanging over us, and it's really killing the vibe. That night was hella creepy. Like, it still gives me goosebumps. It's insane how bizarre things can mess with your mind and totally freak you out. We totally lost our smiles and then heard Tommy screaming, and that moment is permanently stuck in our heads, forever linking that New Year's Eve to some weird and unexplainable thing. The atmosphere was filled with anticipation on New Year's Eve. I eagerly welcomed in the new year by hosting a small gathering of friends at my place. Laughter and clinking glasses filled the house during the countdown. At the stroke of midnight, things took a strange and horrifying twist. The doorbell rang amidst a revelry. I tripped on the field of empty bottles and entered to see a man in a tattered police uniform. The porch light reflected off his badge. Officer Daniels identified himself and reported an anonymous tip regarding illicit funds hidden in my residence. I was surprised, but assumed it was a misunderstanding. Who would stash cash in my home, honestly? The man persisted, claiming the need to search the premises for the lead. He displayed his badge once more, expressing a preference to avoid causing a disturbance among the present guests. I let him in while pretending nothing was wrong. Officer Daniels began searching, going through drawers and looking into closets. I closely observed him, remaining unconvinced of his legitimacy. He appeared nervous, perspiring heavily, despite the cold weather. He inquired about the location of my valuable belongings and whether I possessed any money, while persisting in his investigation. That's when I got alarmed. This police visit was anything but routine, an official check that was actually a home invasion in disguise. I discreetly messaged my best friend at the event, urging her to dial the actual authorities. I grew more panicked as Officer Daniels approached the room containing important documents and cash. His boldness was increasing rapidly. I needed to act prior to his discovery. I chose to confront him, keeping him occupied until the actual police showed up. That's when he lost his composure while I questioned him about the tip-off. His excuses weakened, his eyes darted apprehensively. As he contemplated escape, the sound of police sirens filled the air. I felt immense relief. The imposter officer grew pale, realizing he had no escape. He tried to steal my wallet and ran towards a back door, but the actual police were already present. The fake was caught within seconds. He had previously pretended to be a police officer to steal from people's houses. My guests were equally shocked as I was. Genuine officers guaranteed our safety and vowed to manage the situation. My New Year's Eve celebration turned unexpectedly dark that night. Unexpectedly, danger could be present in the most unexpected places. I felt grateful for the timely arrival of the true police officers who prevented a potential disaster as we continued to celebrate the new year. The party continued, but I couldn't shake off the memory of that fake officer's interruption, which stayed with me throughout the night and into the new year.